Talk to me a little bit about your strategy from the trade shows, magic dinner, webinars, podcast strategies, kind of all that coexisting together. Talk to me a little bit about how you're executing those and why.
So we do a couple of different things. So the trade shows, we haven't, since I've been on board at Splash for like the past year or so, we haven't really done like your standard like booth at a conference thing. It just hasn't worked for us. That's just not who we are. What we have been doing though at bigger trade shows is doing kind of like the ancillary events. We're going to host a yoga class or sponsor a charging booth or meeting area with a partner. And we found that we make better connections and have better conversations when we do things like that. In conjunction with that, we'll probably have a Magic Spark dinner while we're in town. And those dinners are curated invitations by salespeople, by customer support people, by marketing people, their prospects, their customers, their partners. And we just want to get people together in a room talking about the things that matter to them, whatever it is. Sometimes we'll have some sort of entertainment, but most of the time people are there for the conversation. And those conversations are part of what sparks content for us. What are these people talking about? These are, maybe they're not thought leaders, but maybe they're the boots on the ground at their organization. So what are they talking about? What should we be talking about? And I think that those are the types of examples of letting events create your content for you. It could be something as simple as oh, Bob said that. That's super interesting. I'm going to, make a note of that, and I'm going to write a blog post about that. So I think you have to really just be open to the opportunities that these events present to you, and figure out different ways to like bring those thoughts and those interactions to life again after the event is over.
Two things that I really like that you're saying there. One is earlier, as you were describing, it's like you're not going with a standard trade show booth at the conference and a traditional route. And I'm seeing this more and more is, you're saying you're sponsoring yoga, co-sponsoring a meeting room, a charging station, right? You feel like
Yep.
you're getting better connections. You're probably spending less money. And then you are able to create these invite-only dinners through marketing, through sales, and get that, I guess the word would be intimate, but really more the selective crowd that you're looking to be around. I am seeing more and more of those type of moves being made at conferences.
Yeah.
And I think it's because the costs are out of control and it's very difficult to justify. Would you agree with that?
I would 100% agree with that. And too, I think that in doing it kind of the alternative way, the connections you're making are much more authentic. When you're at a trade show, I don't know about you, I haven't been to many trade shows in the last few years, but back in the day, I know that when I go approach a booth, I'm getting approached by salespeople. And I might be interested in the product or whatever, but necessarily want to be approached by a salesperson. It's very off-putting. So especially for an introvert like me, where I'm like, please don't talk to me, please don't talk to me. But I think that the connections are more authentic when you go about it this way, when you find different ways to interact with people.
Yeah. I think what I'd love to see is because I hear what you're saying. I think it is a challenging scene in a trade show booth, right? We exhibited recently ourselves, right? And we had so many conversations around what does the interaction look like? Are we selling people? Kind of conversations are we having? What are they going to be asking? Like we tried to think very detailed about what that interaction looked like, because not that we wanted to control it, but we wanted it to be easier, simpler, more smooth,
more valuable.
Yeah, more valuable. And it's difficult to do because you feel like it's a little bit of a meat market when you're on the trade show floor,
Absolutely.
Whereas,
Absolutely.
At our show the evening before, we had hosted a dinner. The conversations were way easier. You're just sitting there, you're hanging out, you're talking about the show coming up. So it's different. I think there's a world where both can really exist, but companies that are exhibiting have to adjust their strategy. And I love the non-traditional ways of approaching a trade show. And I would love to see them be done together by a lot of companies, kind of mix it around a little bit, which I think a lot do.
I think so.